Again, my dear friends, I'm honored to speak with my good friend and your friend, Colin Plume from Noble Gold Investments. Colin, how are you, my friend?
I am fantastic. Couldn't be better. Happy to be here.
Excellent. What's on the horizon? Let's talk gold. Let's talk metals. Let's talk mining. Let's talk money. What's on the agenda, my friend?
Yeah, no, I think obviously everyone's seen the price of metals skyrocket, which was, if anyone that has done their research, when rates are high and you drop rates 50 basis points in a panic cut, Powell said it was a recalibration, but 50 basis points is a pretty aggressive cut. If you look at just the history of the Fed, anytime you've seen aggressive cuts, tangible investments tend to do well. And so it made a lot of sense that gold has done what it's done. It's, gold's outperformed everything out there. There's nothing that's performed better than gold this year. And I think it's a lot has to do with the Fed's policy and just general distrust of the economy and geopolitical tensions. Obviously we have everything going on in the Middle East. We have Ukraine. You have all these skirmishes happening all over the world. So people are getting into safe haven investments. But yeah, mining is so, when you look at investments, you kind of look at it from many different sides, right? You want to look at all the different sides. So gold has to be mined. Silver has to be mined. These are metals that have to be pulled out of the ground. They can't be printed like our dollars, right? They can't just turn on the printing press and bring gold. They can't do it like what they do with diamonds now. The diamond industry is in real chaos because the artificial gems are perfect. And left, right, and center, I see guys, giving diamond rings that are fake and no one can tell, but they're made in a lab. Gold and silver has to be pulled out of the ground. So what I look at is what are the fundamentals? What's driving things? And one of the things you really have to look at is junior mining. And junior mining is typically miners that are looking for new mines. They're aggressively exploring the world. And these types of miners, it's a little bit of the Wild Wild West, and that, for every 10 of these guys, maybe one or two actually are able to find what they're looking for, but they need budgets. They need budgets to explore. And it's very expensive to go out and to open up and to go in and try to find new mines. And they really need to do that because there is a shortage of these metals. And so one of the things, the statistics that has come out from the mining community is that in 2021, the amount of money that was spent in exploration for gold and silver was half of what it was in 2012. And that's a very telling statistic because it shows that there's not as many people out there that are willing to put investment behind it. Obviously, they want to continue to mine gold because when you mine gold, there's a great arbitrage if you win, right? On today, I think to pull it out of the ground, they say it's between $2,300 and $2,400. So there's a big bump from where gold is today. Gold's sitting in the 2,630, 40 range, 50 range. So there's money there, but to take that risk, the miners need investment, and the investment community has just said we're not willing to take that risk either because they think it's too risky, or they just don't think there's enough gold and silver out there that it makes sense to actually even take on this, massive risk. The other thing too that could be hurting this is just the rates of borrowing have become much higher. The higher interest rates have affected us in so many ways. Obviously, people day to day are looking at residential and commercial mortgages and all this, but businesses need money too.
Right, exactly.
They need to borrow money too, and so there has been a general nervousness to lend money to exploratory type businesses. And so these businesses have really struggled. So that's some of the things that I look at, Lionel, when I look at the markets. It's not just central bank demand, which has been
Right.
tremendous. You also have to look at how are they going to continue to pull gold out of the earth and have it in circulation.
Let me
And
ask you a stupid question. Probably one of the most stupid questions you've ever heard in your life. But I'm going to ask you because I know somebody's thinking this. How much gold is there? When do we say, all right, that's it? We've hit it. You've hit it. Is there peak gold? I mean, how much gold is there? And where is it? And how do we know it's been tapped?
There's enough gold in the world to fit in 2.5 Olympic-sized swimming pools. That's how much gold there is in the world.
Too much. I mean, gold left, or how much
above ground? Above ground.
Okay.
2.5 Olympic-sized swimming pools is what's above ground, and it grows annually depending on how much they can mine. 1%, 1.25%, 0.75%. That's typically what it'll grow in any given year. So even with all the exploration and everything happening out there, the supply doesn't go up that much. If you compare it to fiat money, fiat money grows 15 or 20 times what the amount of gold on the earth is. So yeah, it's not that much if you think about it.
In terms of stuff that's in the ground that we have not gotten or can't get to, what about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. The mining community, I've heard estimates anywhere from 1 to 2 more Olympic-sized swimming pools.
Wow.
Available. Yeah, so it's
I don't know why that surprises me. I don't know.
Well, you don't look like a swimmer. You're not much of a swimmer. That's probably why it's swimming. No,
you're a funny man.
Yeah, I think it's people think there's more of it out there in the world because you see it so used in so many things, right? And also I think another reason is it's become such a staple in jewelry, and you see it. But there's also a lot of jewelry that doesn't have any gold in it that looks like they have gold, or it's gold plated. So it has the color behind it.
Right.
Also, most jewelry is 18 karat and lower. So it's not, it's not like what we're selling. These coins are 24 karat. So they have much less amount of gold in it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of talk of happening. There's a lot with the big companies, the jewelry companies, about recycled gold. And, obviously when you have an item that is worth this amount, it's obvious that the recycling is happening all over the world. Mm-hmm. But the jewelry industry doesn't love the idea of recycled gold. They want to change the term, and there's been some conversations about what recycled gold should be called. But at the end of the day, there's no one in this world that has a gold piece of jewelry that has lost favor with it, that doesn't realize that they have tremendous value. And when you see the price go up the way it is, which is quite interesting, you see these buying gold places pop up left, right, and center. And you got to think they're buying gold from you, this gold necklace from you, at some of the highest prices we've ever seen in the world. But they will all buy it. They'll continue to buy it. And, a lot of it has to do with the fact that they just understand that the mining community is struggling to find more. There's more people on this earth. There's more uses that are popping up. Jewelry is a big demand. It's a little over 60% of the demand that's used above ground, but there's lots of other uses that are continuing to grow. And then there's just the demand from like Russia. Russia has grown. They've grown their gold buying by 600% over the last 30 days. And what they're doing is that they're buying gold, or they're manufacturing gold, or they have gold in their country. And then they're going to ports or places that will allow them to, like Hong Kong, for instance, and they're swapping their gold for things that they want to trade and barter with. So that's something that's continuously happening. So they're going to acquire gold, and they're going to go to China and go, okay, we need something of yours. We're going to go to Hong Kong. Someone's going to verify it. and then they're going to do an exchange. So globally, that's happening with two, massive countries. Argentina actually has shipped a lot of their gold to London. And the reason they're doing that, anytime you see a country shipping, we're talking about 20 or 30 tons of gold. When they're shipping this amount of gold to a place like London, it's typically is they're going to have it sit on the exchange, and it'll be a way for them to trade and barter. Now, What Argentina is running into, unfortunately, is they have tremendous debt. And so they're going to use their gold as collateral. And I don't have enough money to get into that market, but I would love to give Argentina some money and have gold as collateral, because I can tell you this from what we've seen with Argentina, they're going to default on this gold, and whoever's the one holding that collateral is going to be very happy. So that's another reason that you see large amounts of gold being used by countries, is that there's a point where the world doesn't accept your currency. They're not going to accept your IOUs, and they're going to want to repatriate your gold. One of the theories that's coming out eventually about the U.S. is that this will be something that will have to happen here in the U.S. too, is that countries will say, well, no, I'm not going to buy any more of your bonds. I've bought too many of your bonds. They're too risky. Send gold to London or send it to our country. We'll hold it as collateral for an exchange, and then we'll take some of your bonds. And then if you default, then we'll just take the gold, right? So there's a lot of different ways that countries are using gold. Central banks are using gold. But ultimately, it's an asset that is trusted. And that's why, Argentina is using it. And that's why Russia is using it for trading and bartering.
And let's also throw something in as well. Let's not forget our friend silver.
Absolutely.
That is doing, wonderful. Not only that, the silver that is being used in solar paneling, and it is, and of course, I have my favorite. This is my Donald Trump coin. Yeah. I just love dropping this thing. People are, but this is alive and well too. This is something, Colin, I've got to say this, and maybe this is me just speaking out of turn, but I think sometimes when we get into the investment world, a lot of men think they know a lot more about it than they do, just like they think they know about barbecuing and cars. For some reason, they just feel imbued with this ability to do.
Yeah.
And we're also talking about crypto and different things like that, and stocks. This has never changed. It seems almost, it's so rustic. It's perfect. It's like you got to convince yourself. People are always trying to, there's no such thing as, you're not going to believe this, gold is worthless. We don't want it anymore. It's not like a stock. It's never going to lose value. It's permanent.
Yeah. It is. People try to overcomplicate things. I think so much. And a lot of it is, there's great advertising in financial instruments. There's just fantastic advertising. And so people get lured in with things that are exotic and are more complicated and guaranteed. There's a lot of guarantees in the financial space. You see it in annuities. You see it in, a lot of these financial, these real estate companies where they'll guarantee a return. You'll say, oh, this 7%, 6%. But then when you really kind of get down to it, there's anyone that's guaranteed any type of return either is a scam, which there's a lot of those, or you're going to have your money tied up there for an exorbitant amount of time. Yeah, that's how a lot of these funds or annuities are able to say, we'll give you 7% for a year or two, but you're going to have to, we are in charge of your money, and you're not going to get it for 6, 7, 8, 10 years. I think people, they want liquidity. They want to keep up with inflation. And, I wouldn't feel good about having your assets all tied up in something with these so-called guarantees when your money is, basically theirs to invest. Right. Because they're basically going to go out and they'll give you your 6%. They're going to go out and make, 20% in some type of investment. Maybe they're going to make it in gold. Who knows what they're going to make. Right. So I think you're right, Lionel. I think people want to get into stuff that's more complicated. They want to get into stuff. And at the end of the day, you have to really be careful about what you're getting into, because, you've built it, you've worked hard for it. And, ultimately at the end of the day, it is your money and is your investment, but sometimes just slow and steady and safe is okay. And I talk to investors and young people about this all the time. You don't have to hit, 30% returns. You hit, 10% returns consistently, and then maybe your down years are a few percentage points, or not that, maybe 5, 10, you don't have as many down years. That's going to do better than having 1 year making 25%, and then the rest of the time you're down pretty significantly. So I think people should be okay to try to slowly kind of build wealth over time. And it's people want to get there quick. And, unfortunately in the investment world, it's more about protecting your downside risk and growing over time. That's how you build, tremendous wealth.
Now, right now that we have tempted and tantalized our audience, somebody says, I like this guy. I want to know more about this Noble Gold Investments and this Lionel Nation Gold. How does this work? What do they do? What can they do?
Yeah, I mean, it's just as simple as we've said. You call, mention that you heard us here on the show, or say you want to learn and talk to somebody, and you're going to have a good conversation, 20 or 30 minute or 40-minute conversation with someone at Noble Gold, who this is what they do all day. They deal in these physical assets, and they're going to give you information about how the market works, how we work, prices, products, how we ship, if you want to store, how the IRA works. We're going to give you all that information and try to build a relationship with you, and find out why you're interested, or what you're seeing out there that has you leaning in this direction. And then ultimately you'll make a decision when you're ready, but we try to flood you with PDFs and videos and try to just give you as much information as possible. And then that person that you build a relationship with is going to be your contact person. You're going to have them for as long as you have gold and silver. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on is we've had longevity here.
Right.
Our customer service sales team, average person's been here 5+ years. We have a number of people on our staff that have been here for 7 years. That's unheard of in the gold space, to have people last and stick around for that long. So the goal is to build a relationship with somebody that can help you be your person for life, and help you through whatever you need and through the process. And that's really what we focus on, is that personal, concierge, white glove service, and making sure we answer all the questions that we possibly can.
And you are, not to be corny here, but you are the gold standard of this. And your reviews and customer appreciation and customer comments are through the roof. This is an absolute fact. Colin Plume, it's Noble Gold Investments, but actually Lionel Nation Gold, or if you call 877-646-5347 and mention Lionel, that's correct, yes. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
877.
Yeah. And they'll obviously we have some promotions going on for your show that they can go over with you. And I think at the end of the day, sometimes simple investing is good. And I think that's what we really focus on is you're going to own these items by yourself. They're yours. We're just going to help you get there. And I think in today's day and age, with so many smokes and mirrors and so many gimmicks, just doing some simple investing into something that's been around. Gold's been around 5,000 years. It's been in the Bible, something that people know and trust. Sometimes having some of your portfolio and something like that makes a lot of sense.
And also, let me just say, there is something psychologically tantalizing and wonderful about being able to hold something. I love to drop it. And one more thing. Do you remember recently when we had the New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, who got into some problems? But when they went to his house and they're finding cash and they found gold.
Kilo. Yeah.
And he said like gold bars. And
yeah.
What did you say? Kilo? What did you say?
Yeah, it's a kilo. This is a silver kilo, but they had the gold kilo smaller than this. He had gold kilo bars, which we sell a lot of those. We didn't sell those to him, but
no. But what I'm saying was, people that I knew, Colin said, "Can you imagine he had gold?" I said, More people, they think this is somehow illegal. No, people have gold. They have safes with gold. And if I'm thinking to myself, what are you, nuts? What do you think this is? Something from a James Bond movie? No, you can actually have gold bars if you want to keep them. You show up from work and there's a pallet of gold in front of your house. I'm kidding, of course. But I'm serious. This goes back to what I'm saying. People think this is some kind of a comic strip thing we're talking about. No, it's real. It's tangible.
We did a video about that on my YouTube channel where we showed a chart from 2022 when he got the bribes to today. And the fact that he got gold for his bribes, his gold outperformed the dollar by almost 40% over that 2 years. So, I'm not suggesting anyone should get any bribes or
crime does pay.
But if you are going to do it,
yes,
get it in gold.
If you're going to throw your life away, if you're going to be cracking rocks upstate, if you're going to be with Diddy in some cell, go for the gusto. Go for the uranium is a lot not as safe. There's all that. I
would be careful with that one, but ultimately, Menendez. Yeah, I did a number of videos on that because he had gold kilo bars, which we sell a ton of those. I mean, that's a very likely purchase for someone at Noble Gold. I always, when I interview people in person, I usually will bring a gold kilo bar because the weight of it is quite astonishing. So ultimately, we do bullion, coins, and bars. There's a lot, be careful in the gold space. We have a lot of good reviews. Read about us. I've been on this show a number of times.
Yes.
Here's what I'd say. In the gold, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So
it is.
I'm seeing offers right now where they're saying we're going to give you $15,000 in free silver and all this stuff. I promise you, they're not giving you free silver.
Right.
It's not going to happen. I've seen people thought they got that much in free silver. And it turns out they paid 50% above the market on all the stuff that they bought, but they thought they got some free stuff, right? So just be careful. Call us, if you're talking to one of those companies and you want us to, unravel that whole scheme, we can do that for you. We focus on these items, bullion, coins, and bars at fair prices. We'll get you the most bang for your buck. And I'm just excited to talk to people about it. Obviously, we're on a massive bull run in the market, so our phones have been busy. This is the busiest we've been in probably a few months. I think this is the busiest we've been since the bank collapses of last year, Silicon Bank and all those banks that went down. We're working 6 days a week. So if anybody calls those numbers, we're available. Lots of good information, and appreciate you having us on the show.
Well, one more time, 877-646-5347. Tell them that Lionel sent you. And Colin, always my friend, a pleasure to speak with you. I always learn something. The viewers love you, love these moments. We're going to do it again. Thank you so much for your time and your effort and your work. And let's do it again, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Indeed.